Hello, welcome to my channel. Hope you're all doing good, and I have an exciting and interesting video for you to watch today. So I have some new moulds from Moulds and Shapes, and I am absolutely in love with these moulds. They're so shiny, so glossy, so thick, and they just look absolutely perfect for what I'm hoping to do today. So I'm going to try and make a beach scene, kind of seashore scene, and I have mixed up some Apex one coat resin, and into that I've added some seashore pigment from Create and Bloom Crafts, and I'm going to use this blue as the background to the scene for the coasters today. So I'm giving it a good mix. I want to make sure everything's combined. And it's only really watching this video that I realise how much I do actually mix all my resin and my pigments. So I'm going to pour some of the liquid, some of the resin into each of the coasters. I'm just going to do a wee bit at a time and try and have it as even as possible. As I say, I don't want it too thick. I just want a nice base that covers the bottom of each coaster. So I'm just going to top them up a little tiny bit at a time. And then I'm just going to use my silicone stick just to go around and spread the resin to the edges of each of the coasters. I want to make sure there's no gaps, because the next layers that I pour on top, I don't want them sinking through underneath or leaking over the side. I have really lovely colours planned for these coasters. Something a wee bit different, but still in a kind of summery pastel palette. So I'm just making sure that those edges are completely covered. I don't have to worry about any bubbles. Any that do pop up to the surface will probably burst on their own, and that means that I don't need to use any heat or any alcohol spray, so that I don't mark or leave any streaks or marks on the new moulds. So I have some textures here, again from Create and Bloom Crafts, and I want some sort of crunchy sand. I don't want it too fine, but also I don't want it as big as pebbles. I don't even know if that makes sense. Crunchy sand is probably the best way to put it. So I've left the blue resin to kind of thicken up a wee bit for maybe about half an hour or so, thinking that I will add some of the texture into this little pot, put it in the coasters, and then leave that to dry. But as you can see, I've put too much resin in the pot, so I'm having to fill it up with as much sand as I have left in the bag. And I want it nice and crunchy, and I don't want it too much of a liquid. So I'm going to leave it 5 minutes. Wee bit frustrated here. Leave it 5 minutes, add some more sand in. It's thickened up a wee bit more, and I thought this would just be perfect. I could just add this onto the sand, add this onto the resin. But as you can see, I haven't let it thicken up enough. So the sand is just melting into the resin. It's not ideal. It's not what I was hoping for. But well, we'll just keep going. The video's on, we're recording, so we'll just fingers crossed and hope for the best. We'll just keep going. Yeah, so we'll just keep going, adding in some of the texture, and I'm kind of hoping it just thickens up, because I'm really hoping to make these coasters look amazing. So I've left it for a good while. I'm still a wee bit frustrated by the amount of space that the sand is taking up. I really just wanted a narrow strip at the bottom of the coasters. So I sprinkled on some sand, and yeah, it's kind of just leaked all over the place, to be honest. But anyway, we keep going, keep going, fingers crossed. And I'm mixing up some pigment for sweet pea pigment for a lilac colour of opaque resin. And I'm also going to use Baby Spice mica powder, which was a limited edition. So I'm not quite sure if you'll get that from Create and Bloom Crafts at the moment. So I'm just mixing them up, and I'm going to use these colours as my sort of my sea colours, if you like. Something a wee bit different rather than just using blue. Yeah, what do you think? Let me know in the comments if you think this is a good idea, whether I should stick to a kind of fairly traditional colour scheme. Are there any other colours that you think would look amazing with this kind of technique? So I'm going to start now thinking about what colours to put on first. And you kind of want the darker colour to go at the top, although to be fair, both colours are pastel, so there's not really much difference in them. So really it was just a matter of which was my preference, really. And I did go to start with the pink, and then thought, oh, hang on a second, no, I've changed my mind. I'm going to put some lilac in instead, and that'll be a wee bit nicer at the top. You'll see I've got resin moulds underneath to catch any drips, but I'm going to try and be as careful as I can not to drip anything over the sides. I really want this to be just a lovely, pretty set of coasters that were quite easy to make and just have turned out really, really well. Unfortunately, things are going to go a wee bit wrong quite soon. So yeah, stay with us, it's coming up. So I'm just topping up the rest of the lilac resin and the rest of the pink resin. The pink is a kind of shoreline, which I was hoping to have a bit further down, but really because the sand has kind of dispersed so much, that's where that had to go. Just making sure they're all on, all the sides are tidied up. I think I've actually made up the perfect amount of resin, which is a bit strange because usually I have some left over. But no, it seems to be going quite well. At this point, I'm really pleased with myself. I'm really happy. So chuffed that it's going well. And now all I'm going to do is just use one finger to kind of swipe over the line where the lilac and pink colours meet, and that's just going to blend them slightly without mixing them up too much. Giving them a swipe across. And I am really pleased with the results at this point. So now I'm just going to put on a white line of white pigment, and I think this one is the white pigment from Just For You online. I'm covering the sand a wee bit. I would prefer not to have done that, but it's just the way it's turned out with the sand. And now I've got the heat gun, and I am beginning to warm up the resin a wee bit. Now this is only the second time I've tried this technique. The first time was at a craft retreat in the Cotswolds, and that was run by Lou at Create and Bloom Crafts, and she was the expert. She was there to tell us exactly how to hold the heat gun, how not to put too much heat on the resin because we don't want to burn it. And if we do start to burn the resin, toxic fumes come off, and that's obviously not good for anyone. So I'm being really, really careful, trying to angle the heat gun in such a way that I sort of point down and then curve the end of it round to sort of blow the white resin sort of towards the back of the coasters. I'm trying to do them all the same, and just doing a wee bit at a time. You can see the top two have turned out really good. At this point, when I was recording, I didn't actually notice that the resin on the bottom left was leaking over the edge of the coaster. And it's quite a lot of resin, and the rest of them have managed to stay. So when I did spot this, I was thinking, oh no, what am I going to do? How am I going to fix this? And by this time, there's quite a lot has gone onto the table. So yeah, I'm still thinking I'm in total control of this. I have a brainwave. I'll just slide that coaster along a wee bit and really carefully use my lolly stick. Now watch the coaster on the bottom right as I bump into it, and it slides right off. And the resin goes with it. So I have the left hand one leaking resin at the back, and the right hand one where the resin has basically just slid all the way off the coaster. There's quite a lot of mess at this point. It's quite sticky. I'm getting a wee bit frustrated. I'm trying to clear up with baby wipes. I'm trying to scoop resin back onto coasters. I'm thinking just whack on some more white resin and do some more waves. Look at the mess that's been made. It was a disaster. Absolute disaster. Resin everywhere, stickiness. I ended up taking my gloves off in a huff. But thankfully, I've got those two beautiful coasters at the back. And to make them even more perfect, the very, very, very last thing they need is a tiny sprinkle of glitter, and that'll be good enough. So I've got some of the Soulful glitter, which is a lilac-y white pearl sheen to it. Matches perfectly with the colour of the coasters. In a minute I'll zoom in and let you see. I'll also let you have a wee look at all the absolute disaster of the table. The table cover is in a bit of a mess, but do you know what? It turned out amazing. And I hope you'll come back for another video and see if I can get it right next time. Thanks very much for watching. And yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. I'll see you very soon in the next video. Bye!